All right, so we're back with another deep dive, and this time we're tackling something pretty massive. I think that
Yeah.
the Indian Premier League, the IPL.
Right.
Folks sent in some incredible insights from a podcast called Cricket Cash and Culture, and I think we both had a chance to listen to it.
Yeah. Absolutely fascinating stuff.
Really interesting stuff, right?
Mm.
And our mission today is to basically dissect this multi-billion-dollar global phenomenon
Yeah,
and try to figure out what makes it tick.
totally.
Yeah.
And I think for our listeners, this is going to be like a crash course in understanding how the IPL became this financial powerhouse.
Absolutely. So where do we even begin with something this big?
Well, I think a good starting point would be to look at those foundational financial pillars,
Yeah,
the things that really make this whole thing work. And we're talking about media rights,
right.
those huge franchise fees.
Hmm.
And then we can branch out from there and explore all these other income streams that fuel the IPL's growth. Everything from sponsorship to digital, even ticket sales and merchandise. And of course, we got to talk about the role of data analytics and what the experts are saying about this whole financial journey.
Right.
By the end of this, I think our listeners will have a really solid grasp of what drives the IPL's success and those pretty impressive numbers.
Okay, so let's jump right in then. Let's talk about that financial foundation, like the money that comes in even before the first ball is bowled.
Exactly.
The Cricket Cash and Culture podcast, they really emphasize the scale of the media rights. Like the 2018-2022 cycle was valued at around INR 16,347 crore.
Yeah, that's a huge number.
That's roughly $2.5 billion, right?
Yeah.
What makes these rights so valuable?
Well, it's not just about the sheer size of the number. It's the stability that these multi-year agreements bring to the table. It's not a one-time thing.
Right.
It's a constant flow of income. And the podcast pointed out that this particular deal brought in around INR 3,200 crore,
Wow.
about $500 million per season,
Just from broadcasting.
just from broadcasting.
Yeah. And that kind of guaranteed revenue, it allows the league to plan for the future, make strategic investments, build a strong brand.
Yeah, it's like a company landing this huge, reliable contract.
Right.
It gives them that solid base to operate from. And speaking of long-term commitments, another key element here is franchise ownership, those franchise fees. Cricket Cash and Culture mentioned that team owners have paid anywhere from INR 650 crore to over INR 1,200 crore to secure a franchise.
Yeah.
That's a massive upfront investment. What's the logic behind that?
Well, those fees, basically the cost of owning a team for a certain period, it not only gives the league a big injection of capital upfront, but it also ensures that the owners are deeply invested.
Right.
They have skin in the game, they're committed to the long haul, and that fosters this competitive and financially stable environment for the entire IPL.
So we have these two pillars, media rights and franchise fees.
Solid bedrock. But then it gets even more interesting when you look at all the other ways the IPL makes money. It's not just about TV sponsorships, for example, seem to be a huge piece of the puzzle.
Huge.
Cricket Cash and Culture suggested that if you combine the league-level deals and the individual team sponsorships, it could exceed INR 6,000 crore in a single season.
Yeah, and I think what that tells you is that the IPL has incredible brand appeal.
Yeah.
Big corporations are willing to shell out serious cash to be associated with the league and its teams because they know they can reach a huge and passionate audience.
And then you have the digital world.
Right.
It feels like that's become a major player, not just some sideshow.
Definitely.
Cricket Cash and Culture, they were really emphasizing the growing importance of the digital segment. Digital rights streaming platforms like Hotstar, they're bringing in serious money through advertising and subscriptions. They even mentioned that digital earnings now make up about 20 to 25% of the IPL's total revenue.
That's massive.
So how has the IPL been so successful in tapping into this digital world, maybe compared to other sports leagues?
Well, I think it's been a game changer for their financial growth.
Yeah.
Reaching a global audience through streaming has just expanded their market exponentially. And what's really smart about digital revenue is that it's scalable. The more viewers they get, the more potential they have for advertising and subscriptions.
Right.
And I think the IPL has really capitalized on the fact that mobile internet is so widespread in India.
Yeah.
They've got this tech-savvy, younger demographic that's really comfortable consuming cricket digitally. And when you factor in all these different revenue streams, that's how they get to over $1 billion in revenue for a single season.
$1 billion. It's hard to even wrap your head around that. And it's not even the end of the story, right? We have to talk about ticket sales too. They might not be as astronomical as the media rights, but the podcast mentioned that major matches can bring in tens of millions of rupees just from people wanting to see the games live.
Yeah, and then you've got all the merchandise, the jerseys, the hats, all the fan gear. It all adds up.
So it's not just about the money coming in, it's also about how strategically they use data to make decisions. Cricket Cash and Culture talked about using data analytics to optimize the match schedule,
Yeah.
to personalize fan engagement, even to make advertising more effective. It's not just guesswork, they're using data to guide their choices.
And that's key for maximizing revenue and keeping the fans happy.
Yeah.
By understanding audience behavior through data, the IPL can make smarter decisions across the board.
Right.
And that leads to higher fan engagement, more effective marketing, and a better return on investment for sponsors because they know they're reaching the right people with their message.
And all this smart financial management, this data-driven approach, it's led to a really impressive brand valuation.
Oh, yeah.
Cricket Cash and Culture, they cited estimates between INR 20,000 and 25,000 crore.
That's huge.
That really highlights the value and the future potential of the IPL.
Right.
What does that kind of brand valuation mean in the big picture?
Well, it's not just a random number. It reflects how strong and desirable the IPL brand is. Its global recognition, its projected earnings,
Yeah.
and it impacts everything from negotiating sponsorship deals to potentially expanding into new markets.
Right.
And the fact that their revenue has been growing by double digits year after year shows that their strategies are working.
So to help us understand all these numbers and insights, Cricket Cash and Culture, they had an expert on named Ravi, who's clearly spent a lot of time analyzing the IPL's finances. And he really stressed just how significant these figures are, especially given the solid foundation they built with those media rights agreements and the franchise fees. He said the league was designed to be financially sustainable from day one.
And that's crucial. It means that the people who created the IPL, they had a vision.
Right.
They understood how important it was to have a strong financial framework from the beginning. Those long-term media deals gave them the stability to grow and overcome any early challenges.
And Ravi also had some really interesting things to say about the impact of the digital shift. He agreed with us that it's not just about getting more online viewers, it's about creating new ways to generate revenue through digital advertising and subscriptions.
Absolutely. Digital has opened up this whole new world for fan engagement and monetization.
Right.
The IPL can now reach fans who maybe don't have access to traditional TV. They can offer more interactive experiences, personalized content.
Yeah.
And all of that leads to more revenue through ads, subscriptions, even microtransactions.
And he made a really important point about data analytics. It's not just a buzzword, it's actively being used to optimize sponsorship deals and make advertising more effective.
Yeah.
Because the IPL knows so much about its audience, they can offer really precise targeting capabilities to brands, which makes investing in the league much more appealing.
Right, because brands can see that they're getting a return on their investment.
Exactly. So Ravi from Cricket Cash and Culture, he basically said that the IPL's business model is a case study in how to build a global sports brand through diverse income streams and smart use of data.
And I think the takeaway there is diversification.
Mhm.
The IPL didn't put all its eggs in one basket. It built multiple revenue streams and then used data to make each one as strong as possible.
So let's quickly recap some of the key numbers we've talked about today.
Okay.
We've got media rights valued at INR 16,347 crore over 5 years,
Right.
which comes out to about INR 200 crore or $500 million per year. Then we have franchise fees ranging from INR 650 crore to over INR 1,200 crore per team.
And don't forget about sponsorships, which could be worth over INR 6,000 crore per season.
Right.
Plus all that digital revenue, which helps push their total seasonal earnings over $1 billion. And that all contributes to their impressive brand valuation, estimated at INR 20,000 to 25,000 crore.
These numbers, they really show how smart the IPL has been. They've
Yeah.
combined the excitement of traditional cricket with these sophisticated modern business strategies.
And their ability to make money from so many different sources and then use data to make better decisions across all those streams is really what sets them apart.
It's all connected.
Right.
Media rights sponsorships, digital engagement, the fan experience, it all works together, and data is the glue that holds it all together.
So as you think about all this, these incredible financial figures, the innovative ways they make money, here's something to ponder. What do you think is the most groundbreaking part of the IPL's business model? Something that other sports leagues around the world could learn from? And looking ahead, what other financial milestones do you think they might achieve?
Yeah.
because it's clear that the IPL is more than just a cricket league.
Oh, yeah.
It's a financial force, and its story is still being written.
Definitely.
Lots to think about there. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the IPL.
That was a good one.
Until next time.